I'm Christina, and I'm here today with my colleague Carolina. We're both part of the success team in Learning Genie, and today we're very, very thrilled to have you here. We know that getting ready for parent-teacher conferences can be a little bit stressful, so we hope to go over information today that will make the process easier and more effective for you. As you can see, since we're in a webinar format, the system doesn't allow for opening of cameras and microphones. However, as you have already noticed, we can definitely communicate through the chat box. So we'd love to have your participation throughout the webinar to make sure we answer all your questions. Please don't hesitate to type your questions when you have them. For now, we've already checked that the chat box is working, but let us know how you're doing, how you're feeling today. So before we begin our training, we just wanted to take a moment to set the stage a little bit. Learning Genie is built around a circle of inquiry. You may already have heard of that. And this is a proven cycle that supports continuous improvement in teaching and, of course, ensures personalized progress for every child. It all starts with our planning stage, right? In Learning Genie, this happens through what we call the Curriculum and AI Unit Planner modules, and which can help you design lessons aligned to both the PTKLF and the DRDP. So you may be using those. And of course, if you're not using those, you can also use your own lessons or another curriculum. Next comes the implementation stage, where those plans, of course, come to action in the classroom. As you teach, Learning Genie makes it easy to observe, right, and record your notes or videos or photos right as they happen. And these observations flow naturally into the assess stage, where the platform automatically aligns your documentation to the appropriate DRDP measures. Finally, in the reflect stage, everything comes together in full circle, right? And using the Learning Genie reports, you can analyze progress, you can identify each child's strengths and plan the next steps for more intentional, informed teaching. Today, as we'll focus on the portfolio and assessment module and explore how that one can help you for parent-teacher conferences, which fit, of course, right in this observe and assess stage of the learning cycle. All right. Now let's take a look at a rating period. This is a full rating period, and these are the key steps that help make the process smooth and stress-free. So at the start of the school year, you already went through this process, creating sites and groups and uploading your staff and students and getting your DRDP framework and rating periods ready. Then, of course, every day you are implementing activities and recording your observations and evidence. And of course, we're at the stage where you're probably also, besides doing this, you're also rating measures to be ready for the end of the rating period. So at the end of the rating period, we're going to make sure that we're locking students and we're generating reports to make sure that we have very successful parent-teacher conferences. And this is what we're going to be doing today. So before we go to our live training, we're going to go through the agenda just so that we are a little bit familiar with what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going over how to add attributes in the beginning of the locking process to make sure that you have all the characteristics of your students already perfect inside your platform. Then we're going to go over how to take our observation notes and how to add our evidence, our photos or our videos or whatever we have. We're going to go over different ways to rate our measures, and so that you can see the one that suits you better. And we're going to go over how to log children inside the system so we're ready to upload the information to the RDP. Once we log the children in the system, we're going to be able to see the reports. And first, we're going to go to the assessment progress dashboard, which is going to let you know how far along you've come in the rating process, and that's going to be used throughout the period. And one important thing that we're going to be going over today, of course, is our parent progress report, which is going to help you have these successful parent-teacher conferences. We're going to see how we can send those reports to parents, how we can get digital signatures from them, and how to print the reports if it's necessary. All right? So hopefully all of this will be helpful for you. And now we're going to go to our platform so that you can see exactly how to do all of these things. All right. Over to you, Carol.
Yes. Thank you, Christina. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We're so excited to be with all of you here today. And yes, to get started with today's agenda, I would like to walk you through the attributes. You might be wondering, why are we going over the attributes first? Because this is part of the key components that we have to ensure that are fully completed, right? For our students' data to be completed and logged. So let me show you how you can upload, or in this case, update the attributes on the student's portfolio. So I'm currently on the Learning Genie account, right? This is the home screen of Learning Genie. And let's say I want to update the attributes for the students in a class. First, I'm going to look for the specific classroom. So today I'm going to be working on my PS1 classroom. And from here, I'll be able to see here my student roster count, which in this case, for this particular class, I have 14 students. So I'm going to click on the number, and that will automatically display the student roster associated to this particular classroom. So for instance, I can come to a child's profile, let's say for little Alex. If I hover over the child's name, I'm going to get the little pencil icon. So once I click on it, I'll get two tabs. One, the basic information tab, and second, the additional information tab. Here is where we are going to be able to input and document the attributes or additional information for the student's profile. You may notice some that are highlighted with a red asterisk. Those are the ones that are required for data to be transferred automatically to the DRDP online state system. So it's very important that, if possible, we get this data completed at the beginning of the assessment, so by the time that we're locking assessment windows, we don't need to worry about completing those missing attributes. I scroll down a little bit more so you can see the list of the different attributes that you're going to find here in the Learning Genie platform. And again, the ones with the red asterisk will be the ones that are required for data to be automatically sent to the RDP online. However, if you're not planning to send, because we also have some TK programs that are currently not reporting to the states, it's very important as well, or useful, if you complete these demographics, as this will help you to desegregate the data in the DRDP report section of Learning Genie by demographics. So I'm now going to stop sharing. Then I'm going to leave to my colleague Christina so she can walk you through the documentation of observations. I think you're muted, Christina.
So sorry. All right. I'm at the home page again. And on the left-hand side, as you know, you have your menu. We're going to go down to the data hub. And we're going to, I'm sorry, we're going to go down to the portfolio, and we're going to click on add observations to add your observations. Of course, you can also log in through or go in through your main menu right here. So that's another way. So we can go to add observations on the left-hand side. Right now, I'm going to go to this classroom. That's another way of going in. And to add observations, first we're going to make sure that we're in the right classroom. Right here on the left-hand side, I see the name of my classroom. And on the left-hand side, I also have the names of my students over here. So we're going to make sure that we click on the student where we want to add our observation note. So for example, if I want to add for Emily the elephant or Emily elephant, I click on her. And then I'm going to go to the right-hand side and go to the orange button right here, and I'm going to click on add. Once I click on add, again, I'm going to have the student's name right there. And what I'm going to do here is type the description of my observation. So as you know, we need to be here descriptive. So I'm just going to say in the block area, Emily invited a new classmate to join the block playing, and you build with us, okay? So here, as you know, it is optional whether you add some evidence or not. We're just gonna go ahead and upload a picture here so we can see how to do it. But if you're using your iPad, maybe you want to take a picture right there, or you want to record video. Um, and then you are going to select our picture. Okay. And then once you select your picture, you have your evidence there, and we can add now the domains and the measures. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on domain right here. And what you're going to see displayed here is a framework that you have added to your account. In this case, we have the DRDP 2015, we have the preschool fundamental view, but if you have selected a different one, these are, or those are the measures that you would see displayed right here. So what we're going to do is just add and I'm seeing a question. I don't know if we can, I think you may need to type it, Miss Maxine, in the chat, and then we can answer it, please. All right, so in this case, I'm going to add, for example, ATL Reg 7, shared use of space and materials, and I'm gonna add SED 4, relationships and social interactions, and LLD 3, communication and use of language. So you can add as many measures as you want right here, the ones that you feel um, pertain to the observation note that you have taken. And we're going to click on save. And you can double check that the measures that you selected are here. I don't know if you can see them very well, but we have them right here, right under select domains. We have the measures that we have selected. And then you're going to choose your date. This is important because if you've started recording, some of you, I know you have started a little bit late with learning Genie, like during the rating period, so you can always go back and record your previous observation notes if you need to, right? So you can always choose the date. Once you have selected your date, then you can click on save. You also have the option of saving as a draft in case you have not finished adding the evidence or completed the note. You can save as a draft and you can go back and edit it. You can actually always go back and edit most things, so you don't have to worry about being perfect every time. All right, so here we have the note that we just took. We have the the date, and we have the description, and we have the evidence, and we also have the different measures that we have selected. Now, sometimes we are in an activity where we are able to record an observation note for different students, right? Maybe your whole group is doing something in particular that you feel is important. Let's say that they're all singing the ABCs, all right? So you can also make observation notes as a group. For this, you can select any student first, and we're going to go through the same process. We're going to go to the right-hand side and click on the add button. And there we have Alex Alligator, which was the student we selected, but we can also click on this little plus sign right here, and we can add as many students as we need, right? You can also select all if the whole group was there, and we can click on save. And we can add our description here. So I'm just, for time's sake, I'm just gonna write description note right here. You can add your evidence as well. So again, you can take a picture, you can record, you can upload media or attach a file from your computer. So let's do a group picture. And we're going to select our measures. Yeah, let's not choose. If we select the whole the domain, it's going to select all of the measures in that domain. So make sure that you only select the ones that you need. Okay, and then we're going to click on save. And again, you're going to have the measures shown right here underneath, and make sure that the date is correct, and we click on save. So this is what we're going to do in order to make a group observation note. Now, what happens here is that all of the students that you selected are going to show the same note in their file. Okay. Now, if you're doing an observation note, you may have the possibility of adding more notes and more measures to each of the specific students or to some of the students. So if you want to add more information to that particular note so you can tag more measures, you can also do that. So you can click over here in the student that you want. Okay, and I can go right here to the right hand side. There's a little pencil icon. I can click on that one. And then I can go back and click on the plus sign, and I will take away all of the students that were not there, or the ones where I'm not going to add more information. So for example, here I am under Andy Anteater. So I'm going to click on him. I'm going to click on save. And then I have my note that I made for all of the students, but I can add more information right here for just for Andy. Okay, so I can say Andy, for example, was singing and he was sharing the seat with another student, or something that you observe that is different from what everybody else was doing. And again, what you would do here is you add more measures so that you can personalize that note a little bit more. And we, of course, want to add as many notes as possible, right? So there we have all of we have our group note, the information from our group note, and now we have the particular information for Andy. And we're going to save right here. We have selected all of the measures. So you will always have the measures that you added in the group observation, plus the ones that you add for this particular personalized note. Okay. Oh, this is the student that we have already locked. Okay. In this case, if your student is already locked, it will not allow you to do it. But we have locked the student to show you what happens when you lock a student. So I'm just gonna close it. But that's what we need to do. We just need to go back to each student where we want to add the extra information. You remove the students that you don't want and you add the extra information. I think we have some questions. Carolina, I don't know if you can see them in the chat, or we have some hands raised. And
No, I can see them. But if anyone has questions, feel free to send them in the Zoom chat, or we have as well the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom meeting so we can get them there.
right, yeah, Miss Maxine has her hand raised. So if you can write your question in the chat box, we can answer it. Thank you so much. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're going to check how to rate measures. So I'm gonna stay right here in our portfolio module. And the first way to rate a measure is right here in the notes. So we know that when we have a note, we can see the different, well, we can see the description, we can see the evidence, and we can see the measures. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the measure that we want to rate. Once we click on that measure, it's going to show us the name of the student. Then we're going to have the domain. So in this case, approaches to learning self-regulation, which is ATL Reg 3, imitation. And then you're going to have a description, just in case you're not too familiar with that particular measure or with the DRDP. It's going to give you the description. So for example, here, child mirrors, repeats, and practices the actions or words for others in increasingly complex ways. That's a description of that particular measure. And then we have our rating scale. You have responding, exploring, building, and integrating. And then you have the bubble sheet where you can select which one of the ratings is most appropriate for your student. Again, you have a description that helps you to be able to rate. So for earlier, responds to facial expressions or vocalizations in basic ways. For later, imitates approximations of single actions or sounds when interacting with others. Um, and then, well, we're going to have that description for all of the different measures. And then we're going to have here an example of what that looks like in action. So for example, we just read response to facial expressions or vocalizations. That means that the student maybe cries when hears a loud noise, closes eyes when taken into bright sunlight, brings fist to mouth, and fuzzes when hungry. All right, so those would be examples of earlier, of responding earlier for this particular measure. Um, to help you rate, you also have the notes that you have recorded in the past. So in this case, we have one description note. If you had more, it would show them to you here so that you can evaluate and decide where you're going to rate the student with the description note, the evidence, and the descriptions that you already have here. So I'm just going to choose one right here. Make sure that you bubble in the correct one. And then we're going to go ahead and click on save. And once we have rated that measure, right here in the description note, we're going to see that it's in green now. The other ones are white. So that means that that particular measure has already been rated. Okay, so that's one way to measure, to rate our measures. Another way is by going over here again to the top right-hand corner. We have two little boxes, one that says class status, and I'm going to go ahead and click on portfolio status right here. So when you come over here, you have the names, you have the date interval. Right now we're in the one that we have active is spring 2026. We have our children here. You can select the child that you want to rate. You will see if the student is an ELD or an IEP student, you will see the symbol right there. Also, it will show you if the child has already been locked. In this case, we have the little icon that says pending locking, which is like a lock that hasn't been locked yet. So that helps you to identify them. And we can go down over here and we'll see all of the measures that correspond to the DRDP that view that we have selected. So we can see here a little report. We have a rated section. These are all the measures that have been rated in the past. And right next to it in parentheses, you will see a little number. That means how many times that measure has been rated. So for example, ATL Reg 1, there's a little 1 in parentheses. That means it has only been rated once. So if your agency requires you to, for example, take at least 2 or 3 notes of a particular measure before you rate it, then you will know right here if you're ready to do that or not. Okay. Um, we also have a section that says unrated, and in parentheses we have 2. So these are the 2 measures that have not been rated yet. And then we have an unobserved section, which means that all of these measures right here have not been observed yet. Okay, so if we click on any of these measures, we go back to this bubble sheet that we saw earlier, and we're able to rate our student right here. Okay. Um, I'm going to go ahead and close this. And now I'm going to show you a third way to rate your students. I think you will like this one. Let me go back for a second. I'm going to go here right on the top right-hand side again. Now I'm going to click on the button that says Rate All. So you can click on that. Okay, and here you have a way to look at all of the measures at a time. You can see at the top that we have a child view and a measure view. So in the child view, I can click on, here's a list of all my students. I can click on any of my students, and it will display all of the different domains and measures for that student. And you're going to be able to click on the student and I'm sorry, on the measure, and you're going to be able to click on the rating scale so that you can choose which measure, how you want to rate that measure. Okay, the ones that are disabled are the ones that you don't need to rate at the moment. They're optional in this case. I think we have specific measures that we're rating. Just make sure that you are in the right student, and then you can go ahead and rate all of the measures at the same time. So this might be a way that is more convenient for you. Here you have the option of looking at the DRDP view that you have selected. In case you need a reference, you can click right here on reference, and it will display the document, the official document of the DRDP, so you can take a look and refer to the document anytime that you wish as well. Okay, you can also download that document and just have it handy. All right, so this is one way to do it. Another way is the measure view. And this one is, instead of rating all of the measures for one child at a time, we're going to be able to um, look at the list of students and rate one measure, but for all of the students at the same time. Okay, so here you have, for example, ATL Reg 1, attention maintenance, and you have a description of the measure, and then you have the list of students, and you can rate that measure for every child in your class. If you scroll down a little bit more, you will have that reference that we saw earlier again, so that it can help you decide what you're going to do or how you're going to rate that student. You can also go measure by measure. So if we go right here to the right-hand side and click on ATL Reg 2, it will take us to the next measure. So if you're ready to, to rate all of your students, you can you can do it this way. It's quicker, whichever one feels more comfortable for you. All right. I don't know if we have any questions on the chat. We're doing good. All right. Thank you. Got it.
Yes, perfect. So now I'm going to move to the next step of the process. Now that we've seen how we can document observations, rate those DRDP measures, we are going to then move to the next step, which is the lock-in students assessment. So I'm going to continue working on the classroom that Christina was showing you earlier. And for example, I have identified, I have a child that's already ready to complete the assessment window. So I'm going to work on Wendy. And from here, we can go to the upper right-hand side to the class status section and then portfolio status. In the portfolio status, we're going to get an overview of the current assessment completion per child. So first, we can confirm the assessment window we want to complete right at the top of the list. We are going to see right our student roster and then per child currently, since I was coming from little Wendy's portfolio, she's the one selected. So what I can do here is to review, right? What are the measures or the amount of measures I'm still maybe missing to rate, to complete, to observe. In this particular case for little Wendy, I have already observed 43, the whole 43 measures in the DRDP view I'm working to assess the classroom. Out of those 43, 42 have already been rated. And I saw someone ask this question earlier in the Zoom chat about the red dot. If you notice, some measures have this little red dot. This red dot indicates that there was new evidence or new observation notes tagged for this particular measure. So in case you would like to update the rating, the system will let you know for you to review those ratings, and then maybe based on the new evidence, you would like to update the rating previously assigned to the measure. But in this case, I can see as well that I'm just missing to rate one measure. I can do, as Christina was showing you earlier, the rating of that last measure from here as well. So I'm going to click on the measure. That will display this window where I can find all the necessary information for me to assign a rating. If I scroll all the way to the bottom, I'm going to find all those history of observation notes in which this measure has been tagged or observed. So let's do the rating. Let's say, based on what I have observed, the child is a built-in middle under the approaches to learning, self-regulation, engagement, and persistence measure. I save. And now I'm going to have all the DRDP measures for the child completed, observed, and logged. If you notice, the system already identified, right? I have completed observing all of the DRDP measures and the ratings have been completed. So it's now suggesting me to do the pre-lock-in check. I can either cancel and do it later, right? Or I can find as well and continue with the lock-in process later on. And you're going to find the pre-lock-in check here as well. So I'm going to click on the pre-lock-in check. And here at the top, we are going to find all those attributes or demographic for the students that we were discussing at the beginning of the session that are very important to be completed. Most importantly, if we are sending data directly to the DRDP online system. And then, right, this is just a reconfirmation of the measures that we have everything completed for the data to be logged. We can proceed by pressing the lock option at the bottom right-hand side. And since everything is ready, right, the system will just provide us with this confirmation window, letting us know that the reports can be generated in 2 hours. We confirm, and that's it, right? We'll just get the last acknowledgement window letting us know that the child assessment has been logged and that the reports will be ready soon. As we already mentioned, it may take up to 2 hours. However, That may depends on how many students you are locking at the same time, because sometimes it's even sooner. Once we have a child already logged, this is the icon that you will see here under the class status. The green light locked icon basically represents that the reports are already generated or available for the child. If the assessment is still not locked, then they're going to have this little red dot lock. And if it's in progress, because this child I just did the login, so the system is working on generating the reports, I'm going to get this orange button. Now, with that being said, and maybe you might be wondering, how can I keep better track of my assessment completion? That's why in Learning Genie, you're going to find under our Data Hub section at the left-hand side of the screen, the Assessment Progress Dashboard. In the Assessment Progress Dashboard, we are going to have this amazing dashboard that will display to us the assessment progress or completion depending on our role within the program or the Learning Genie account. We might be able to oversee assessment for the whole agency, or if I'm a site administrator or a site principal, I will be able to see it for my site, or if I'm a teacher, I'll be able to see it for my class. So I'll go directly to one of the sites and the classroom. I'm going to choose the one that I was just working on. And this is what we are going to see. As soon as we filter the assessment dashboard information at the top, we are going to be able to see the specific progress for the class, for the site, depending on how we are looking to search for the data. So what we are going to find here, first, we have the assessment windows, right? Currently, I'm seeing the fall 2025. If I want to see my progress of spring 2026 for that same class, I can just toggle from one assessment window to the next one. If we were looking at the fall 2025 window that most of us are closing right now, we can just review here how many observation notes have been documented, the average notes per measure, and the key developmental or the key milestones or the assessment completion. So for example, the observation progress percentage, the rating progress, and log progress, right? So from here, I can have an overview of my current assessment completion. We also added some additional graph, right? Like action plan completion. If you are part of the amazing partner users that are using our action plan feature, you're also going to be able in this graph, the completion of action plans that are completed in the parent progress report for the class. And as well, if we are sending those reports via the Learning Genie parent app to the families, we are also going to find this graph that will show us the percentage of reports being sent. If we scroll down a little bit more on the dashboard, we are going to get to a more detailed report of assessment progress per child, right? So here I can identify, so for the ones that are already completed and logged, and I can also identify maybe some students that I'm falling behind on their assessment completion. It will display the amount of measures that have been observed, rated, and how many days left we have to complete the assessment, right? If you have it's been already overdue, this is what's going to happen. You'll see it in red highlighted, so you can easily identify those specific portfolios that we may need to pay closer attention in order to get them completed as soon as possible. And as why the column of the days left is very useful. If you have, for example, late end release, and most likely their assessment window, it's going to be ending a little bit later than the rest of the group in the class, you can refer to this dashboard to get more insightful or additional details on how many days left you have to complete the assessment. I'm going to stop sharing and leave it to Christina again.
All right, let us know if you have any questions, please. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go right into a very interesting part, which is the parent progress report. And what we're going to do is well, first we're going to go to the home page. And again, we're going to go to the left-hand side and to look at all the different modules that we have. And then we're going to click on the Data Hub module. And we're going to go down to the assessment report. And then you'll see the option of DRDP report. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, you have several reports that are going to be very helpful. Depending on whether you're an admin or a teacher, you'll see different reports right here. And also important to remember that you won't see the reports until your students have been logged. But the report that we're going to go over today is the parent progress report, because this is the one that has really useful information of the student that will explain it in a better way for the parents. We're going to go ahead and click on that. All right. At the top, you have your assessment period. You have your assessment framework. You don't need to do anything to this because this has already been set. You're just going to make sure that you are in the correct site and the correct classroom. And as you can see here on the left-hand side, we're going to have your list of students. In this case, we have Alex Alligator right here. And then for the parent progress report, you're going to have three different views. We have the domain view, the measure view, and an action plan. So we're going to go over those. The first thing we're going, or the first view that we're going to take a look at is the domain view. And here we're going to see, of course, the child's information. So you have all of the information, the general information of the student. At the top, you have the option of choosing English or Spanish right here on the right-hand side. So you can click on Spanish and it will automatically translate. When we send them, if you're sending them through the app, we're going to explain that a little bit later, but you'll have the option of the parent will be able to see it in whatever language they desire. But here we have the option of English and Spanish. So we have the child's information. And since this one is the domain view, we're going to have information about each of the domains. So now, because this is made specifically for parent, it's going to have a description of the domain so that the parent can understand what we're evaluating at this point or what we're assessing. So here we have, for example, approaches to learning self-regulation. You have the description, and then you have the rating scale. You will see a black mark right where the student was rated. So what is that? Where does this come from? Well, this comes from all the rating that we have done in the past, right? From all the different notes that we have taken, and then from the rating that we did just now before we logged the student. So it's going to show the parent where the student was rated, but not only that, it's also going to give you a description of what that means. So we're in approaches to learning self-regulation. So here you have at the building middle level, your child often seeks adult support when needed, such as managing feelings or doing complex activities, etc. So it's going to explain in language that the parent can understand what this is about and how their child was rated and why. So same thing for each of the different domains. And that is our domain view of the report. Now, if we go to the measure view, this one is slightly different because here we're going to have not only the domains, but the different measures. And we're going to have a little green mark where the student was rated in each of the different measures in the DRDP. Okay, so this is another view, and this will let them know exactly where their child was placed according to your rating. What's interesting about this one is that after you have evaluated more than one rating period, you can click right here where it says Alex's developmental progress. Right underneath, you have a button that says show child's data during different assessment periods. Right now, we only have this assessment period, but we can see a little dot in green. If we had done or rated a period before, it would show a dot in another color for each of the measures, and it would let you see the progress of each of the measures for that student. So for example, in attention maintenance, we may have rated him responding later in the previous period and now building earlier. So they would be able to see that progress. So that one is another way to show students developmental level. And then we have the option of the action plan. So here in the action plan, you have something very interesting, which is that you have the ability to build the plan with AI. Now, it's not just random AI, it's going to be AI that's inside the platform that's going to use all of the information that you have fed into the platform to create a report about the student that is a little bit more descriptive. So right here we have Alex's action plan. Then we have a button that says switch to manual mode. we have both options. I'll show you both, but if it shows this right here, that means that you're in the automated mode, which is going to automatically create that report. Again, you're going to have the student's information right here. Um, and then this report is going to be generated based on strength measures and growth measures personalized to that student. So right here, you can click on where it says please select. We have strength measures, and then it says please select. And these measures that you see here are the ones that are rated the highest for that particular student. So you can choose as little or as many as you wish to include in the report. So let's say I want to include those. I'm going to click on save. Then I'm going to go to the growth measures so that we can talk about growth measures as well. And it's going to select the ones that were rated the lowest for this student. So I'm going to go ahead and choose those two, for example. And they're going to show up right here so you can verify. You can edit that if you need to. You also have two versions of this report. You can click on the simplified version or the standard version. Of course, the simplified one is going to give you a more concise report. We're going to leave the standard one right here. So once you have selected those, we can click on generate report, and it's going to automatically create that report based on the measures, those growth measures and strength measures that you have selected. And of course, it's going to, in the first paragraph, it's going to talk about the growth measures. So Alex has shown great strength in his persistence and determination when engaged in activities that interest him, for example. Then in the next one, next paragraph, we're going to talk about his growth measures, right? Alex needs support with increasing his fluency and understanding English. He currently understands some common English words, etc. So it will talk about the growth measures, and then by working together, the full potential of Alex can be achieved. Now, one thing to notice about this one is that you can click on the text, and you are able to write in the text right here. So that means that you can personalize it a little bit more if you wish. Okay, so you can delete or add anything that you want. You can click on the simplified version if you feel this one is too long. And you can click on generate report even. If you don't like it, you can see a different version. So this will automatically generate your report, and then you can have the parent sign it. Well, you would have the parent sign it in the parent guardian, and you have the person conducting the conference, and then you have the date. So once you're satisfied with your version, you can click on save, and it will save it right there. You could also switch to the manual mode. In the manual mode, you're still going to have some help. You're going to have the template, and you're going to have the measures included in there. You can also edit the measures that you want to talk about right here. So here we have selected these, but you have your child's strengths include. So this is the format that it will have, just like the one we saw in the automated version. Your child's strengths include, and then you write down the information right here. Your child is currently working on, and then you can write on this on the growth measures. And then we as teachers, caregivers, families can help your child learn and develop in the program by. You can help your child learn and develop at home by, and you can fill that information in. Again, you can click on save when you are happy with that version. So it's up to you how you want to create your action plan, but it's definitely going to be very personalized. And then we can, if you need to print it, we can click on the PDF right here at the top right hand side. So you have the option of domain and measure view, just a domain, just a measure. And you also have, when you hover over this, the option of batch downloading individual progress reports. So we can download all of them at the same time. If you go to the left side where we have the list of students, you can also batch send the report to parents. So we could, if we have our app set up with the parents, we can send the report to all of the parents at the same time if needed. All right. I don't know if we have any questions in our chat. Not yet. All right.
Okay, so I can continue. Thank you, Christina. So yes, as Christina was mentioning, Learning Genie, you will have the ability to either send the reports to families via the Learning Genie parent app or download a PDF copy, right? If you either you would like to send it via email or download or print out the copy of the Learning Genie parent progress report to share with those families. When printed out, we have two languages available. One is English and the other one is Spanish, right? It will automatically translate everything in the report to the Spanish language to share with those parents. But one of the highlights of sharing it with the parent app or through the parent app is that it will automatically translate that to families. So let me share the example. I'm going to send this report to this child's families. It's an example of how families see it, but I will show it shortly, how the report is sent to them. So I'm just going to send. And once sent, I would like to share this screen and so you can see what families sees under N. So here, for example, we have sign-in report for parents. First of all, I would like to mention that families receive different type of notifications from Learning Genie about the report. So they don't miss the report under N. First, as you may see on this example, right, they get a notification on their device that the report is ready for them to review. Once they log in into Learning Genie, this is what they're going to get as well, a pop-up notification letting them know that their report is ready to review and sign, right? If they missed or skipped that notification as well, their report confirmation or notification is going to be included here at the top of the feed of the home screen in the parent application. Quickly, this is how families can see the report. It contains the main tabs that you saw in Learning Genie, the domain view results with the description of the different developmental levels the child achieved during that assessment window, the measure view, and of course, the action plan, right? With the strength and growth measures that we've tagged for the child, as well as the detailed description of the action plan. At the bottom, what they do is just press on sign in and confirm. And then they just input their digital signature into the report, press submit, and then they'll get a notification, right? That their report, the sign of the report has been submitted successfully. And as I was mentioning, right, quickly, they have the ability to review the report in different languages. Right here in the parent app, families have this little icon at the upper left-hand side that helps them to choose the language in which they would like to receive the information staff is sharing with them. So they can select their specific language. Let's say they have a parent that's Spanish speaker parent, so they can choose Spanish. And then everything in the report, it's going to be automatically translated to the language of choice. So you don't need to worry. You can complete your report in English, even complete the action plan in English. And as you may see, everything will be automatically translated for the families, including the action plan. Now, going back quickly to Learning Genie, I would like to show you that now that I have sent the report and the parent has signed it, this is what you are gonna see. Let me just go back to the child I was working on. So here, you'll see now the status of the report for the child. It says report sent and signed. So if I go to the action plan, I'll be able to see that the parent have now submitted the signature on that report. And from this point as well, I can go ahead if needed to download the report using the PDF if I want to get a hard copy of the report with both signatures.